Hello and welcome. I'm Master Lam Rasaji, and this is our Monday edition of Rasaji Speaks. Real exciting. Nashville is this week, and we are really excited to be back in my hometown. Also, don't forget, after the Nashville event and Thanksgiving, which comes the week after Nashville, on Thursday, 12/12/24, we're going to do a presentation similar that we did around the 4th of July holiday, except the influence will be Advent, is reverence to Master Rabbi Jesus and his birth. And so there'll be Christmas carols, there'll be music from Master David and his wonderful students. There'll also be the four standing exercises that Master David will do and explain. We'll have Brother Nate talking about wellness centers. We'll be giving you updates on everything moving forward. Also, Brother Andy and John could come on for a few minutes, talk about the website, what we've accomplished so far with the website, sharing about the gathering that gets started up the Saturday after Nashville, right? Which will be perfect because it'll be Thanksgiving, the Saturday of Thanksgiving weekend, and that'll be really, really, really powerful. So we're excited about it. Tell all your friends. It's a free event. We've got 500 spots. And last time we had close to 200 people. We had our biggest live audience we've had in a while. We are suspecting that we could have 300 to 500 people this time because we are growing again. Our website last month got 100,000 views in 30 days. People always trying to create traffic to their website. They say build it and they will come. No, build the way to get to the website and they will come. Ask Andy and John and Sister Lynette. They'll tell you that. All righty. So our title today is we're featuring Saint Jude, Finding Faith in Challenges. Saint Jude, you have the famous hospital, St. Jude, and you wonder why they're calling it St. Jude. And they do wonderful things for children, cancer patients. A family goes there because of donations. They don't pay a thing. And wonder why the tie-in is that. And so today, we're going to get a little bit into that tie-in and who really St. Jude himself was. We might be called the third evangelist. So we had St. Paul, which all around Judea. And then 5 or 10 years after St. Paul, St. Thomas goes to India and converts a lot of people in India. Today, there's supposed to be over 1 million Christians in India. That's pretty profound. That started. St. Jude had a tendency to go around the area of Turkey, what we know as Libya, Persia, and it's a very interesting thing, right? So there is not too much known about St. Jude except from Lama G. St. Jude was considered the internationalist because he went throughout Mesopotamia, Libya, Turkey, and Persia, preaching and converting many people. He was credited with helping the early creation of the Ahmadiyya Church beyond. St. Jude Athasius. He was the lesser cousin of Jesus and brother of James. He's a patron saint. He passes away like 65 AD. And he was known like Joseph of Arthenia to have some medical background in him, and that's one of the ties. And it was more home remedies of the tie. He understood the power of sage, but also especially frankincense. They used frankincense a lot. A lot of people don't know frankincense was used on the lepers quite a bit during that time if you were able to get frankincense. And when you understand how powerful the healing of frankincense is in regards to skin remedies, it would make sense. He was clubbed in the head in where we know today is Beirut, right? In Lebanon today was Persia back then. But he was snuck up on and clubbed in the back of the head, and they crushed his skull, was how he was taken out. And they took his bones and basically all the way back to St. Peter and buried him in Rome with St. Peter. He was known, like Jesus, to heal a person who was paralyzed, having the early stage with him. So you had Brother John, who had John the Beloved. And then, of course, you had James, and then you had Jude, and then Andrew, Peter were like that first 5 people that were Jesus's apostles. So Saint Jude would have been considered like the 3rd or the 4th. So he was early in with the 12. And like I said, his bones are buried in the basilica. So I'm sure that that had a lot to do with naming the hospital after St. Jude. Of course, you can Google this, St. Jude Hospital and see. But he was professing the resurrection of Jesus constantly throughout Turkey and Persia, and going in that direction. And as a matter of fact, he continued basically taking over Paul's work. As you know, Paul wasn't long before Paul was beheaded, and that happened much earlier than that. And it was kind of St. Jude decided to continue to take over with where Paul was doing because he was making headways in the same area. Probably be accredited to be the 3rd evangelist, right? And he did that for quite a while. And he was a learned individual. He was able to read and able to write and knew certain things. So he worked closely later with Matthew and had a relationship with John the Beloved and was accredited to helping also for a while with the Gospels and stuff in early times. So Saint Jude is considered pretty profound in the Catholic Church. They have a one of their what I would call their philanthropic portion that's done a lot. St. Jude's spirit had a lot to do with happen in the philanthropic area through the model of the Catholic Church. Is pretty incredible, you know. He was extremely very pious and prayed extensively, like St. Paul did a lot of fasting during his time. Kind of small in stature, you know, about 5'4", which wasn't considered really small back then. People were not the giants that participate today in the NBA like people are today. But that was, again, kind of middle statue of it. John, beloved, was about 5'7", 5'8". Andrew, Peter, was about the biggest of the apostles. He was like 5'9", 5'10". And that was considered large in that area. Nowhere near the size of Cornelius, though Cornelius was right about 6 foot and 275 pounds of pure muscle. Cornelius was massive. He was more the size of Brother Andrew. Just imagine Brother Andrew about 20 years younger, and you'll get a good sense of the size of man that the Cornelius was. He was massive in that time. He was like a mountain. He would be definitely like a middle linebacker today in the NFL, I would imagine. But he was really strong with the early movement from 30 AD till, I mean, shortly after Jesus passes away. I would say from 38 AD right up until he was killed, he just picked up momentum. He took St. Paul's lead and just continued going on. It was pretty amazing. Also, Saint Jude was one of the earlier apostles to come to grips with that this really happened, that the resurrection really happened. He was pretty tight with John the Beloved. So, if John the Beloved said it was so and Jesus talked about it, didn't take much to motivate St. Jude, that was for sure, because he was around. He was also one of the early ones that was in on what was going on with Judas and that kind of knew that Judas was probably going to stab Christ in the back. He knew of that, was warning a lot of the disciples and the apostles of that. I remember that extremely. But kept to himself a lot of times in the early years, especially during the time that where Jesus was still in his body and still alive. But we owe a lot to St. Jude's, and it's not by accident that he's, how the church looks to him and has a special feeling for him, and that they would name a hospital after him, especially for children. He loved kids, and I'm sure that's a huge connection. He was the one that kids, when we would come into a village or town, they would always come up with to him and John the Beloved. There was this key. And John Beloved had a way with animals, and especially with camels and different animals of that time. It was definitely a key. And even the horses that the Roman soldiers would ride from time to time. Both of them seemed to be a little bit of horse whisperers, if you will, and the horses could sense that in both St. Jude and also St. John, the Beloved heart. And animals know that, just like children know that about us. It's really kind of key. So just remember that the 12-12 event starts at 1 p.m., our normal PFL time. And we'll probably run between an hour and a half and 2 hours, and it's free. It will be a good chance for those of you working the affiliate program, especially like Sister Lynette's been guiding you to do. Might be a good time to review some of the PFL, especially the latest ones that she did on how to work the affiliate program, and set yourself up an invitation with the link that Andy will be building here in the next few days, and to get our people out. So anyhow, Baraka Bashai, have a great week. I'm going to be able to see a lot of you in person in Nashville, and I hope that you're streaming with us. You don't want to miss this special event. This is our 9th tour, number 9, Return to. And I think it's going to be real pertinent. And plus, it's our second time in Nashville. So that in itself will be also huge. Dr. Preston is doing a phenomenal job. He's been working so closely with Sister Lynette and Sister Terry and everything. So we know it's going to be the bomb, and you're going to want to be there one way or another. So Baraka Bashad. May the blessings be to you and your family. Let's have the best week ever. And I'll see you tomorrow on the Tuesday edition of Versace Speaks. God bless you and your family.